So, got it.
You're live streamed,
We're
and
live streamed. Awesome.
let me know when you want me to press record.
Well, let's just get started.
Okay, give me 1 second, and there you go.
Beautiful. Well, hi everybody, and welcome to our men's call tonight. We're here to talk a little bit about the company Tranont and talk about men's health in general because we don't talk about it enough, and we hear a lot about women's health and what's and all that on all the different media and stuff like that. But for men's health, we just, as men, we don't talk about it much. We don't go to the doctor as much as we should. We don't go to the dentist as much as we should. So we're here to talk about men's health and Tranont and the products that we're taking that are making a huge impact in our lives. And yeah, so like I said, the company's Tranont. They've been around for about 10 years. In Canada, where I'm from, they've been here for about a year and a half. So, and they have some amazing natural supplements that are helping us just live better lives with our mental health, our physical health, and our financial health as well. So, Nick, do you have anything else you want to talk about for that?
Yeah, so I mean, just touching on that. So anyway, my name's Nick Fraser.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I'm as you can tell, I'm from Southern Alabama. No, I moved here from the UK. I moved to Florida from the UK in 2002. I own a real estate company and a title company, and dabbled in a few different businesses, and then found Tranont through my wife, and thought that this was just such a huge opportunity, not just in terms of the business and the products in order, and to help me feel better, but also to start having this conversation, to start actually talking about men's health. Because when I started taking the products, and I felt just huge, like 100% better, and I started talking with other guys that I know, and they were like, yeah, I feel like that too. I felt like that too, just so like worn down, so kind of downtrodden and lethargic and no energy and just no focus, but also kind of the I got the overall consensus that guys wear it like a bit of a medal of honor. Like, yeah, I'm a man, I'm gonna carry this crap with me, I'm just gonna feel like garbage because that's what men do, and that's what we're told what to do, and just suck it up and get on with it. Until one day we drop down dead. And I want to actually kind of change that conversation, and change the feeling around men's health and men's wellness, and whether that be physical, emotional, mental, financial, whatever it may be, is to actually change the culture around it, and to be able to have those conversations, and so that people that whether they're, let's say they're watching this tonight and don't have anything to say about it, but maybe kind of hear something that we're talking about, and it resonates with them, and it helps them actually make a positive change in their life. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted us to have this, or I was pleased to be included in this opportunity to have a guys chat, to have the man show, and talk a bit about who we are and how these products have changed our lives, and why it's okay to actually say, hey, I'm not feeling too good, and look for help. So yeah, that's a bit about me, and as to why I want to be here.
That's amazing. Thanks, Nick. And then we've also got Chris with us tonight, who is father, has got 2 kids. He's actually a certified dietary supplements advisor and a bunch of other stuff too. Like he's a weight loss consultant, sleep stress management, and a recovery coach, and he's just a wealth of knowledge tonight. So what brings you here tonight, Chris? What are you excited about?
Yeah, thanks, Trent, and thanks, Nick, as well. I'm excited to, I think Nick nailed it, really talk about all of the stuff that men wear like a badge or just wear because they believe they're supposed to as well. I'm a former 25-year executive in tech, and you want to talk about someone who ignored their mental and physical health for years, has two thumbs in his right here, right? It's hard, but we all do it because we think this is just what we should do. So your stress suffers, your blood pressure suffers, your mental health suffers, your physical health suffers. You eat to drink to cope, right? Like there's all these things that, and lots of people do it, but men in particular seem to, glom onto these somewhat unhealthy coping mechanisms to deal with things. And I want to bring light to that. I want to talk about it more. And I have just stepped out of that 25-year executive treadmill as well. And like you say, I've just recently gained certification in sleep stress management and recovery. Historically, I'm also a former personal trainer, former weight loss consultant. And one thing I've gained as well is a dietary supplements advisor certification. And that's because A, I want to know this stuff for myself as well. But B, I really want to help clear up a lot of misconceptions about like supplements and what's snake oil and what's not, and what works and what doesn't. And I'm excited to talk about that. I think we're talking about a few of the products and solutions that we found that have worked for us in various ways. And there's reasons why these things work. They're not magic. I mean, they feel like magic, but I'm really excited to talk about, what is actually in this stuff that is really helping you. And it's very natural, wonderful, natural-based supplements. And I'm happy to talk about that stuff too. I'm happy to talk about everything.
And that's a good thing. I am too. So totally open book.
Yeah.
I have got zero to hide, and I really don't.
Same
I'm
here.
more than happy to share.
And I'm happy to learn because I've talked to Chris a couple times. He's fairly new to the company, and I've just met him recently, but he's such a wealth of knowledge, and I think we're in for a treat tonight. So, well, why don't we jump into some of the products here? The first one that I want to talk about, and I think you guys are going to agree, it's called Enrich. And this is a digestive enzyme that helps with your digestion. So it's got 11 different digestive enzymes in it and a stabilized pre and probiotic. So what this did for me is I had heartburn and indigestion for years and years. I think I started when I had kids, that's when your stress starts. That's when this started going too. So when we joined with Tranont, Benny was loving the collagen, but we heard a testimony of someone talking about the digestive enzymes. So I started taking it. Within a week, I was feeling 75% better. And then within 2 weeks, my heartburn was completely gone. And it was just amazing. Like I was going to Tums in the cupboard every day after dinner. And one day we were having steak and wine, and my partner said, well, you haven't gone for Tums in a while. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right, I haven't. That was a year and a half ago. I haven't bought Tums in over 12 months. And I had them in my car. I had them in my desk. I had them, in my backpack at work in my desk. It was just crazy. So that is the biggest thing for me. This is like the cornerstone product for me in this place.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of add on a little bit about when you got good now, or you?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, my digestion system was a little different than that. It wasn't heartburn. It was more the bathroom, like going to the bathroom all the time, every time I'd eat. And it was what I used to say was, I love food, but food hates me and it's trying to kill me.
Yeah.
And I would get to the point where I just wouldn't eat. We'd go out for dinner, and I was like, I was scared to eat unless I knew where the bathroom was, and it was that quick a response. And I started putting on weight. I was bloated all the time from the food I would eat. I would literally have the smallest portion of food and just feel like right in the middle of your chest there, just like, oh, this horrible feeling. And so I discovered Tranont through my wife Stacy, and she was like, well, let's get you these digestive enzymes and see if they help. So within the first week, I dropped 7 pounds. It was like 6 or 7 pounds, something like that. And I didn't
Same
have
with
the
me.
bloating anymore. And my bathroom habits were way healthier, way healthier. And if there's ladies on this call, I'm sorry, but it's a guy's call. We're going to talk about pooping. So, I was, it wasn't a good situation for me. And then Enrich completely changed that. Now it's like I know that, if I have a couple of Enrich before I eat, if I'm having a big steak dinner or something like that, then I'll take 3 of them. I do have a much more sensitive stomach than most. I've had it checked. There was no official diagnosis, but it wasn't right. So, I found that Enrich has just helped me enormously, not just with that initial weight loss and the digestion of the food, but my bathroom habits continuing to go on as well in a positive manner. And just being able to actually enjoy food again, which I wasn't able to before.
Is there any specific foods that were worse or better, or just pretty
Any of
much
them.
anything you ate?
Any of them.
Yeah.
Any of them. Obviously, the richer the food, the better. And I'm not a junk food kind of guy. I would try to eat healthy, but even the healthy foods would it just didn't sit right with me. So, and Rich, I found, has really helped me kind of absorb those nutrients, and I feel more energetic from food as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Whereas
awesome.
before I would just feel so lethargic, so kind of wiped out from eating.
So it looks like, George, do you have your hand up there? Did you have something that you wanted to share?
I do, yes. Nick, I just wanted to thank you for sharing that. I too have the same bathroom issue, and I was unaware that Enrich helped for that. So that's something I will talk to Margot about. Curious on how you work on, like, how many you're taking and so.
So I would say, to answer that question, it's got to be a personal thing.
Okay.
It all depends on your sensitivities, things like that. For me, I know that if I take two on the morning, and like 2 before I eat, I'm good. If it's a light meal, I'll just take 1. But if like
Okay.
some days, even when I'm still taking Enrich, there's some days where I'm just like, ugh, I just don't feel like my gut just doesn't feel good. So I'll
Yeah.
just pop a couple of Enrich at whatever time of the day, and it just seems to completely settle my digestive system. So it's, and Chris will probably be able to speak a little bit more about why Enrich does this, but I've
Okay.
found this to be a complete game changer for me.
Yeah, I find we will go out for dinner and have a really nice dinner, and I enjoy it for like 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden everything, the $100 we just ate goes down the
It's
drain.
down the toilet.
Goes down the
Literally
toilet.
down the toilet. It is literally down the toilet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's
All
always
right.
that.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And
No problem. Yeah, and I thought it was just the food here in America, but apparently it's worldwide now. So
It's in Canada too, I promise you.
all right. Thanks, Trent.
cheers, George. Yeah, and if anyone has any questions, stick them in the chat. Maybe Benny can kind of keep an eye on them, and if there's anything that we need to kind of pop in, or maybe we address any of the questions at the end and kind of go through all of that.
Absolutely. And Chris, could you tell us a little bit about why this works?
Oh yeah, it's George, I hear you, man. Like the stress and the anxiety is real about going out and eating. You're like, is it gonna hit? And always it's the worst time. I lived that for a while. Yeah. So Enrich has, as you mentioned, a pile of enzymes, and the ones in particular in here, because enzymes kind of like cut up lots, like big long molecules, basically, that then help you digest things better. So there's enzymes in here that help you digest fats better. There's enzymes in here that help you digest carbohydrates better. And there's enzymes in here that help you digest proteins better as well. So like, the big steak dinner with the big baked potato, a lot of fat, a lot of protein, a lot of carbs and stuff like that. Our digestive systems haven't evolved as quickly as the grocery stores have in this world. So, like, there's still a lot of people, like, we were never really designed to digest cow's milk, for instance. We were never really designed to digest really firm whole grains. Corn, you all know about corn. There's a reason it does that, right? We were not designed to digest sorts of things. But when you're taking Enrich, and I tend to take 2 before dinner and supper. Breakfast is simple. It's 2 eggs for me, so that doesn't bother me. But when you take that, you're kind of giving your gut a shortcut, basically. The enzymes are going in there and they're kind of like breaking down things earlier for you. So by the time they get to like the small intestine, the gut where the digestion really happens, the stomach kind of gets it ready. But once it gets in the gut, it's already partly processed, and it's just much easier for your gut to deal with, absorb nutrients, and pass it through your system. I mean, it's a helping hand for your gut. And even if you don't have problems like George does, and I have a lot of IBS symptoms and Trent, even if you're not feeling like that, it's still fine to give your gut a break. Gut health is super important. It's kind of your second brain. And even if you're not suffering terrible things like we've all men have talked about in the call, you can still get benefits from that because it just gives your gut a break. Just as some people fast for a day to give their gut a break, same kind of idea. So it's high on my stack as well, Trent. It's one of my absolute favorite things from Tranont.
Yeah, it's the one thing that I can't go without. And it's also good that, like you said, it's your second brain. Having a healthy gut is good for your hormone levels, for your sleep, for your skin. It helps. It's the cornerstone of everything in your body, really, is your digestion. So, anything else that we want to talk about with the Enrich? I think we've covered quite a bit. We've covered the pooping and all the enzymes. And I know for me, so like you were saying, Nick, I didn't have the same thing where like after every meal, but I was probably going 5 times a day easily. Now I'm like 2, maybe 3, and it's just it just calms everything down. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And then so one thing that goes along with the Enrich is our newest product, which is Transform. So this is it's another enzyme, and it's a natural enzyme just like Enrich, but it's going to convert your sugars and your carbs into fiber. So it takes about 50 to 90% of the carbs that you ingest and changes it into fiber, which lowers or helps control your blood sugars. And it has so many benefits. It can help with your hormone levels. It can help with, I've heard a lot of people say it helps with sleep, brain fog, and just so many other things. Cravings for me, I lost about 7 or 8 pounds after taking this because I don't get those cravings for sugar and carbs at night. I'm a snacker. I was like having chips, all the time. I'd be sitting down working and I go to the cupboard, get some chips. And then, 20 minutes later, I'll get some more chips. So it's really helped me with that. And yeah, it's been amazing. What have you guys had for Transform for results with that? How has it helped you?
Chris, do you want to go?
I've no, go ahead, Nick.
No, go ahead. Go.
Oh, okay. All right. Trent, I will see your weight loss and I will raise you up to 15 pounds as well. Like this,
that's amazing.
I have struggled. My mother, God bless her. Like when I was a little kid, I was in elementary school, I think. I said, "Mom, am I fat?" She goes, "You're not fat. You're just husky." And like, I've always remembered that, but I've always been built that way, right? And as I got older, like keeping weight off was really hard. And going on all the diets, appetite suppressants, things like that, I still gained slowly over my life, but eventually I got to a point where I'm like, no, I have to go back down again. Transform was the thing that kickstarted that loss for me. And like I said, I'm down 15 pounds. I'm losing steadily and healthily. But it's just been a real game changer for weight loss for me. It's not magic. It's not a drug. But what's really cool about it, and I'll let Nick talk about his experience in just a second here. What's cool about it, there's a lot of enzymes that kind of work on your food, but the one in Transform is a little different because your small intestine, your gut, is actually what absorbs sugars and carbs out of your diet. So it's not your stomach. What this enzyme does is the reason you take Transform a little bit further ahead of your meals if you can, about half an hour to an hour. It's so it can get in the gut and wait for the sugars to show up. And when the sugars show up, the enzyme kind of says, no, you don't, and it transforms into soluble fiber, which is, if you know what Metamucil is and stuff like that, you mix it up in the class, all that stuff. That soluble fiber, not the bran muffins, but soluble fiber that is kind of like a gel-like substance in your gut, and that just helps everything move very well. It's great for leveling out your sugar levels, your blood sugar levels, I should say. It's been a game changer for me for killing off the cravings because I'm not carb crashing all the time. Yeah, so I'm hoping for another 15 thumbs up. But I want to hear what Nick has to say for sure.
Well, honestly, that's awesome. That, like, such incredible testimonials there, and I can't talk about weight loss with it because I haven't seen any. And I think that's because, like, I don't, as I say, I didn't eat junk or anything like it. I've always had a pretty healthy lifestyle, except for, I was starting to kind of self-medicate on things, about a year or two ago. And even this time last year, I was a very different person than I am right now. But I've been on a journey for the past 12 months. And what I've found is that, with Transform, I sleep like a baby. Like my head hits the pillow and I am out, and I wake up refreshed and rejuvenated. That's one of the big things for me. One of the other things that I still want to just kind of do a little bit more work on it, and I'm still waiting to find out the results, is, so I around about I think it was about 3 or 4 years, no, it was about 3 years ago. I just felt like I'd fallen off a cliff. I was just so exhausted. I would work out every morning, but I'd literally just sit there and go, oh, I just want to go back to bed. Got my testosterone levels checked, and they were in the toilet. So I've been doing a bioidentical testosterone replacement treatment, and my doctor, my last round, I think, was maybe in July, and she wanted to put me on some other medication as well and they're all natural things. It's not, I don't like chemical medication, but she wanted to put me on some different things to see if we could kind of boost the testosterone, the bioidentical pellets. And I said, why don't we do this? Because sugar is a killer of testosterone. Well, I've started taking Transform, and let's just get the blood work done again in about 4 or 5 months' time, and let's see where we are there. Because I want to kind of be able to compare apples to apples. I want to make sure that it's a true gauge, so to speak. So for me, it hasn't been a weight loss thing. I got the weight loss when I first started taking Enrich and drinking Mojo and taking the Glow, all of that sort of stuff. That was when I got my weight loss. With Transform, I've just felt there hasn't been the crashes in the afternoon or the early evening, and my sleep is just insane. I love it, absolutely love it. So I still take it every day, but in terms of the tangibles of the 10, 15, 20 pounds weight loss, that's I don't believe that one's in my cards, but it's still something I want to keep taking.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about the sleep as well. Like, it just, and sleep, and like you said, the energy levels is on top of that, because it regulates blood sugar levels, not just from the high end, but from the low end as well. I've heard some people that have, this one woman that I was talking to, she was tired at night all the time, just like lethargic on the couch, like you were saying, and the Transform brought her energy levels up because she was processing the sugar properly. So it's just such a great product.
And I think, all of this is like little steps, little tweaks towards making us feel better all down the line, and it just because, you've got Transform doesn't mean that you should go out and eat a ton of sugary products or junk food or anything like that. It's not good, So I think it helps people with that adjustment of the mindset.
Yeah.
And start going, okay, well, maybe I just need to chill a little bit on the cookies after dinner, or what, or maybe cookies pre-dinner. I don't know. But maybe
Maybe both.
it's the little adjustments that kind of make us feel a bit better. But as I say, I'm interested to find out to see how my testosterone levels are while taking Transform. I mean, Chris, you might be able to speak a little bit more to that from the scientific side. I'm just kind of assuming in my dumb little mind.
No, like one of the things that we talk about kind of in the supplement, zone is that, people's experiences are kind of the truth that we need. It's the science can get a little muddy because bodies are very complex things. But testosterone T levels are probably, they suspect, affected by large swings in insulin production. So if you're taking a lot of sugar and you're not combating that with something like Transform, for instance, it's probably the insulin swings up and down that are affecting testosterone production, because they're all kind of hormones and signaling hormones, and the body can't do everything at once. So when your body is in overload mode trying to deal with this sugar, your testosterone production goes down a little bit. That's kind of the current medical theory. And yeah, so that's probably what contributes to better energy as well, is just leveling out of blood sugar and not having those insulin swings all the time. But yeah, they can be very, very much connected. So your experience with testosterone, yep, it's bang on.
Yeah, for sure. And I've heard a lot of people talking about how testosterone or lower testosterone levels can really cause brain fog, and people that have raised their levels especially as we get older. Like, I'm 50. I know Nick's probably getting around that, close to that age too.
Oh yeah, 47.
Yeah, so
I know I look a lot older. I had a really tough
well,
period.
you look distinguished, Nick, is what I'd like to say. Especially with that beautiful beard. Benny and I were talking about that last night. She wanted to trim my beard, and yours is looking fantastic, I gotta say. And I'm cursed with the curlies.
Hashtag beard wars.
Exactly. So, like, speaking of energy levels, I know, Nick, this is probably one of your favorite things, is the Mojo. So this is it's just awesome. It's a nootropic, and it helps with energy levels, appetite curbing, and I think it's got a bunch of other good stuff. I'm gonna let Chris talk about that. But Nick, why don't you tell me about what you love about the Mojo? Because it is just
all right.
It's one of my new favorite products.
So at the beginning of the call, I'd mentioned how, men kind of walk around feeling like shit, not feeling, sorry if I'm swearing, but that's part of my vocabulary. Feeling like shit and just not feeling good, and wearing it as a badge of honor. And it's like, this is how I'm meant to feel. So, and as I say, I was self-medicating. So I was in pain because of injuries and whatnot. So I was drinking. And then on the morning, I would wake up and not feel great. So I'd start with the coffee. And throughout the day, I'd have about 7 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
And then come around about 3 o'clock, I would crash. So I would have an energy drink. And then I'd come home, have a quick bite to eat. And part of my life is, most of my life I've played rugby. Now I coach rugby. So I coach youth teams, I coach college teams, I coach a men's team. So I'm pretty involved in that community, and you have to be switched on because there's a lot of technicalities, and there's also a lot of questions that you get. But I would have another energy drink on my way to rugby training. So that was, 7 cups of coffee, 2 energy drinks, literally living off, false adrenaline, like just caffeine and sugar, and not good. So it was around about November, it was probably about this time last year that my wife got involved with Tranont, and she started drinking Mojo. And she is not a morning person. She will tell you, I'm not speaking behind her back or anything like that. But then all of a sudden, I'm looking at her on the morning and going, what is going on? It's like, she's getting up and like happy dance, whereas before it was like, don't speak to me until like I'm ready to be spoken to, sort of thing. And I'm like, and then I'm like, what is in that Mojo? She was like, do you want some? I'm like, yeah. So I tried a Mojo and had another one the next day and one the next day. I was like, all right, what's actually in it? I was like, I feel fantastic. And I hadn't had a cup of coffee throughout that time. I, to this day, have not drank a single cup of coffee. So on a morning, I get up and I make a Mojo before I head out the door, and I put it in one of my Yeti tumblers, and I sip on it throughout the morning. And I don't have an energy crash in the afternoon, so I've not had an energy drink. And I, as I say, I've reduced my coffee intake drastically. So I would buy the big bags of coffee beans and grind them every day and do all of that. So anxiety was through the roof. Sleep was not good. Like a conversation like this, I would have just had an anxiety attack. Because just too much caffeine, too much caffeine. And also, you start like mental health aspects of it as well were not good either. It's all linked, and for me, it was all just spiraling downwards and downwards and downwards. So these items that, like, the Mojo, the Enrich, all of that, all of the other things that we can talk about have all been little cogs in the wheel to kind of help me start going, okay, let's get back on track here. I'm 47-year-old. One of the sayings that really sticks in my mind is people say, you'd say that you would die for your children, but would you get healthy for them? And
I love that.
my son's 15-year-old. I coach him at rugby. He plays football. He runs track. I want to be able to be part of his life, and I want to be there for him as well. And it was kind of spiraling downwards where I wasn't going to be, and it was a lot of self-medicating. And once you change those habits, once you change those little cogs in the wheel, everything starts changing as well, and everything starts getting a little bit better as you go. So it's not like I'm sitting here going, Mojo saved my life, but it's definitely something that has helped reduce my anxiety, and energy levels are way better throughout the day as well.
It's a piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like 7 cups of coffee in a day, that's, as far as gut health goes, that's a killer.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that's the
wonder
biggest
why I
big
needed
thing.
Enrich, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And I know Chris wants to talk about the Mojo because he loves it.
I love the Mojo. Oh my gosh, the chocolate stuff was on back order. I'm freaking out, but like that's what I do. 7 cups a day of coffee. Yeah, I'm putting my hand up. That was me at one point.
Yeah.
And again, it was screwing with my sleep, screwing with my mental abilities. Like it's bad news. I love coffee. Like I love good coffee, but um, the trouble with coffee is that there's caffeine in there. Obviously, that's why we drink it, right? But once you get used to the effects of caffeine, this is why people like smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day, because they're not getting the hit that they used to. When you get to the level of like 7 cups a day, you're just constantly kind of caffeine crashing as well, because it goes in there. It blocks it blocks neurotransmitters in your brain, so you don't feel sleepy. Basically, caffeine wears off, boom, all those chemicals hit your brain, make you feel sleepy. So you're just kind of crashing all day. I am on Mojo. Sometimes it's a half scoop of Mojo, and that's all I need in the morning. It's a much better, I don't want to say buzz, because caffeine is a buzz. This is a hum throughout the day. It's just a very good feeling. Like Nick mentioned, it brings clarity to the way I think.
That's kind of how I
Yeah,
say it. It's almost like
yeah,
someone's just flipped my switch and I'm
yeah,
on, and I'm focused, I
yeah,
can compartmentalize.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and Trent, you mentioned nootropics in Mojo. Yeah, there's a couple in there. I mean, there's Brazilian coffee in in the coffee one. There's green coffee bean extract as well. There's a couple of things in there. One is big long word, phenylethylamine. That's, we call it PEA. It's not P, it's just PEA. This is something our body produces actually intrinsically. It's a neurotransmitter that helps us stay alert and focused. So if you're out in the savannah and a lion is attacking, it's what helps you kind of focus on that lion and make sure you run away. But when you introduce that, it helps with clarity. It helps with mental function. There's another one in there. We call it AGP. It's alpha glycerol phosphoryl choline as well. And don't get scared by the big long names. This is stuff that's naturally present in food, naturally present in you as well. That's something that crosses what we call the blood-brain barrier really well, actually. So nootropics are substances that can actually get into our brains. A lot of things can't, because the blood-brain barrier blocks a lot of stuff. It's like the brain's defense. The brain is super important. But this stuff actually safely gets into the brain and supports neurotransmitters. So it actually helps your brain fire better, like really at an atomic level, a nerve level. So caffeine basically just goes and blocks your tired feeling, basically. We call it sleep pressure. And so it's blocking that feeling. And when the caffeine wears off, boom, you feel extra tired. This stuff is different. This stuff actually does help neurotransmitter function. It's really good stuff, and it's chock full of that. Green tea extract as well. So this stuff is going to give you a much smoother feeling throughout the day. And yeah, like Nick said, like someone flipped a switch. It's great stuff. I love it. That the chocolate version is like hot chocolate is my big treat. Very few calories in it, and it's a really great treat in the morning, especially when it's like dark and depressing outside.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm the coffee guy. I've been out of the coffee though, so you're probably jealous because I actually have chocolate stuff at my house. So I'm mixing that with my regular coffee and making like a mocha, and it's fantastic. And then there's also a sister product, or this is men's call. It's a brother product tonight. It's called Zest. So it's got the same stuff in it, but it's more of a lemonade flavor. So there's a lavender, vanilla, and roasted peach flavor, and it's the same thing, but you can drink it cold. And I use it before I go to the gym, so it's like a pre-workout sort of. Gets my energy going and my brain firing, and it's awesome. And also, so this one here, I actually give. So a little backstory: my 10-year-old, he's got some trouble being happy at school. He's had some issues in that. I give him a little bit before school, and for the last 3 weeks I've been doing this, and he's just been happier, and it's just a kind of a crazy thing, and he's been way better. And the teachers, even the special ed teacher or learning assistance teacher, came up to me the other day, and she's like, "What have you been doing with Renfrew? Because like what have you done? Because he's changed. He's just so much better than he used to be." So it's pretty crazy.
So likely the nootropics in it,
yeah,
like the mood enhancement.
Exactly. So the first time I tried it, we went for a hike last summer, I think it was, and we were going over this log over a river, and he was really hesitant to go over it. I had to almost carry him, and then he had a bit of zest along the way. And on the way back, I was like, okay, well, we found a new trail that we don't have to go over the log. He said, no, let's go. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. And he said it's the best hike he's ever been on. He was just so happy, and this is the coolest place. And it was just amazing stuff.
So I don't have a whole lot of zest in my head. Well, actually, we do, but I don't take it because I don't like those flavors. So what was it? Roasted peach. Yeah, and something lavender. I'm like, really? Like, that is not the pre-workout drink that I want. Like, I want citrus. I want real like citrusy flavors. So they've just brought out what is it? The strawberry limeade?
Strawberry watermelon. Yeah.
Strawberry watermelon. I preferred the grape limeade, but got outvoted.
Oh, I did too.
But I have ordered some of that strawberry watermelon because that I can drink as a pre-workout. And I've been using a pre-workout from another company. I would much rather get off that and
get onto something a little bit better.
Yeah, because I know what's in the Tranont stuff. But yeah, I've used that. You know, when I'm traveling, I'll take the little sticks of it and use it as a pre-workout. And it does the same. You're right. It's just like taking Mojo.
Yeah, it is.
But I just can't do those other flavors.
The fruity flavors. You know what I do? I actually mix mine half and half. I do a little bit of like Gatorade, lemon lime Gatorade powder with it, and I
Mhm.
do that, and then to get my electrolytes in me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Lavender vanilla just doesn't sound appealing to me in any. It sounds
No,
like
I don't think Nick is a lavender vanilla kind of guy. Just
No.
random stuff.
only in my
Or-
body wash.
more of a tea tree and rosemary or something.
I don't know tea tree. I like that.
So the next thing that I want to talk about, and I'm gonna let Nick talk about this one as well because he's had some crazy results. I think this is where you started. Is the Glow Collagen?
One of the big, yeah. So
So this is like our up until Transform came along. This was our top seller
mhm.
because
Mhm.
it's a medical grade collagen that's going to help with like for the beauty side with hair growth, nails, skin, but it also helps with joints. It's like WD-40 for your joints, and it helps with so many things. Like collagen is the cornerstone of your body's. Like your body has so much collagen in it, and I mean, again, I'm going to let Chris talk about this a bit more. But Nick, what brought this product brought you in? I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So as I say, I spent over 3 decades. I spent 35 years of my life actually playing rugby.
Destroying your body.
And yeah, my body was completely broken. Like every joint, everything, I just felt like trash. I did have a hip that needed replacing, and there's no amount of collagen that's going to actually change that. So, I had the hip replacement. Actually, it was around about a year ago. It was December 9th of last year. And one of the things was I'd kind of hobble downstairs and just be like, ugh, and that because you can't really sleep a whole lot when you're in recovery. And Stacey would give me a mojo, and then she'd also be like, okay, we're gonna collagen load you. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I at this point, you've pushed these products on me, and I'm sold on them. Like they've all been good. I can't argue with any of it. So I'll start taking the collagen. So I started taking collagen. My doctors were like, dude, you're recovering really quick with this. You're doing great. So I don't have like a side-by-side comparison in terms of I wasn't taking it before my hip replacement, but I know that my recovery was sped up. One of the other things I noticed was that my fingernails were literally hard as nails. I was like, holy cow, this is incredible. And every other joint was loosened up. And I started talking with there's a couple of guys at the rugby club that are one is like a online fitness coach and whatnot. And I said, hey, talk to me a little bit about collagen. What do you know about collagen? He's like, oh, it's just another fad, you just eat 2 ribeyes a day. I was like, okay, I'm gonna need a lot of enrich for that. Because like I can't digest the ribeyes and the amino acids and then creating collagen, and I'm 47 and it doesn't work that way anymore. So I need a little bit of a push start with it. So I was like, okay, whatever. You're a young guy that's just completely jacked. So I can't not going to argue with it. But I continued taking Glow. I continued taking the collagen, and I noticed, Stacey had actually said to me, she was like, wow, every time you would have a photograph taken, you're always wearing your sunglasses. And I was like, yeah, I guess I am. And then probably about 3 or 4 months ago, I was like, you know what? I always had these bags under my eyes that were hereditary. And I would just automatically put my sunglasses on, like subliminally, just to kind of cover the bags under my eyes. And I still have a little bit just because that's like it's in my genes, but they have really, really gone down. So I'm like, okay, the vanity side of it, still take the collagen, and I still feel like so much more limber, and I'm not like my fingers aren't cracking all the time, and my joints aren't cracking. I just feel like a lot looser on it. And I've never been a flexible kind of guy. So, my joints just feel oiled. as you said, it's like WD-40 for your joints, and that's exactly how it is for me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. I had shoulder pain from a workout injury a year ago, and like 2 or 3 weeks on the collagen, and then it was pretty much gone. And it was bugging me for probably like 3, 4 months.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
love that comment, Nick, about that your joints feel oiled. I know it doesn't look like it, but I used to be a gym rat. Like I've got a home gym downstairs, lifted a lot of weights, mucked up the shoulder doing
Mhm.
flies or something. Anyways, also a weekend warrior. I joined the ball hockey league at my wonderful young age of 47. It's just I'm playing with like guys in their 20s and they're just kicking my ass. But I have sprained both ankles playing ball hockey recently in the league, and also blew up my left knee as well in there. So I've taken 3 months up to recover. But yeah, I am on the glow every single day, and um, recovery at this age should go slower. But I feel my joints are recovering faster now than they did when I used to do stupid crap in my 20s. And so I've sprained my ankles multiple times, blew my knee a couple times. But I can tell that with the collagen supplementation, things are actually healing faster. Because both my chiropractor and my physiotherapist have said, yeah, if you're gonna blow your knee again, it's gonna be the last time. So I'm taking the hiatus right now, trying to take it serious. But the glow is really helping. Like it's amazing. Like I should be in more pain, and I barely even notice it all day. It's something that wasn't even on my radar until my wife started taking it. And yeah, it's really done such a good job. Such a
Now
good
you
job of
mentioned
healing.
you mentioned the chiropractor, and he was basically
Mm.
I've retired a few chiropractors in my time because I was going all the time, and now I go maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. But now they're making comments like, "You're so easy to adjust now," whereas before it was like a workout for them just to get any kind of adjustment out of me. So I think a lot of it, the glow, like helping with that collagen in the like in my joints and everything, and it's just again, it wasn't even on my radar, and then I'm like, okay, I don't want to live without this thing now.
And
Yeah,
like there's a lot of, oh no, go ahead, Chris.
no, I was just gonna say it's just like plaster for cracks. Like if you got a cracking wall and get a little tiny bit of plaster, you can't repair it. Same thing. This is why we put collagen in our bodies, is that we need these amino acids to help repair our tissues. This is what they
Yeah.
do, like our tendons and everything. Like it needs this stuff, and I can't even afford to eat 2 T-bones a day, right? Like, and Rich can only go so far. Um, but yeah, you need these materials to help repair. And when you're older, it takes longer. And when you hurt yourself, when you're a stupid weekend warrior like me and hurt yourself and do dumb things, yeah, you need more of this stuff. It's you can only get so much from food. The stuff is super bioavailable. It's kind of partially broken down as well, so your body absorbs it better. It's there to help your body do what it does best, which is heal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the great thing about this collagen. Like most collagens that you get are they're powdered. So you're only getting about maybe 15 to 20% absorption rate. Ours is about 90% absorption rate. And it's
So
like,
have you guys watched that video? Craig Cotter interviews I can't remember her name or a title, but she's an independent collagen expert. And I'm no scientist, but I literally nerded out over this video. It was absolutely incredible. And it kind of made me go, well, that explains a lot. And now I get why like it acts so quickly and things like that. So it's definitely one that people, if they can spare a 35 minutes to watch it, it's fantastic. It's a really good video.
Sally just put in the Lorna Vanderhue, maybe.
Again,
I don't know.
yeah, I've slept since then and slept pretty deeply, so I don't remember her name. But I know it's in the Tranont Go app, or it was anyway. So anyway, but yeah,
And then
it's
we've also got, I think the next thing, just jumping on with that, Optimize, which is a proteolytic enzyme that's going to help with muscle recovery, repair. It was actually developed with athletes, with professional athletes, to help them get back on the field in half the time from injuries. So it's going to work like a Pac-Man on the road proteins, and it really helps with inflammatory stuff and pain and just recovery in general. So I think you take this as well, Nick, with the
Yeah.
glow.
Anything that helps with the recovery, absolutely. And I don't think I've taken Advil. Again, that was one of my self-prescribed drugs. I would take Advil all the time, to help with the pain. And don't take Advil anymore. I take Optimize. I take 2 at night, 1 in the morning. And I've found that it's one of those things where you're taking it and you're kind of like, oh, I don't really know, blah blah. And then we ran out of it, and my elbow started to flare up with tendonitis, and I was in agony. And then we got the Optimize back, and I started popping Optimize, and within a couple of days, pain had gone, and I don't even feel it anymore now. So it's like, okay, it's another one of those things. And I know that Troy talks about him playing golf.
Yes.
And one of the things that I know is that, as you get older, like when you clench a fist, it just feels really tight across the back of your hand. I don't have that anymore. It's like loose, in your hands as well. So it's just all around feeling a lot better than mine. I couldn't have felt much worse, but I feel a lot better than I did before.
So it's good for your golf game, is what you're saying.
Well, I'm no good at golf, but I know that
Troy.
My recovery, everything, it's just been a hell of a lot better.
Yeah. George, you had your hand up there for a second, George. Is there something that you wanted to share as well?
I just wanted to share a quick story, but I've been told I'm supposed to wait till the end by my wife.
Yes,
Well, the boss
Margo,
has spoken.
yes.
So
No, it was just a quick story about Optimize.
Yeah, share that.
Oh, okay. So I had a baseball injury from when I was trying out for Team Canada. My rotator cuff blew out. Back then, I probably should have had the operation, but they didn't do it unless you were in dire need. So I've had pain for the last 30 plus years with my shoulder, to the point where I can't even sleep properly. Now I'm probably the biggest not optimist, but the reverse of that. Like, I'm very negative and hard to buy into something. After hearing Troy share his story, I started to take Optimize, and within 3 to 4 days, the pain in my shoulder was gone, where I could sleep again. Funny enough, same as Nick, we ran out and the pain came back. So back on it now, and it feels great again. So just wanted to share that.
That's amazing.
yeah, that's a great story.
The whole thing, when you're not using it and the pain comes back, it's kind of like there's a quote that I use a bit at work, and it's called "Nothing works unless you do." But it's also kind of like, these products are like a vacuum cleaner. Your house doesn't get clean just because you buy a vacuum cleaner. It's clean because you use it, and you use it daily, and you have a routine. And the routine that I've got with these products, I feel amazing. I feel so good taking them. But some people are like, some people I've gifted product to, and I'm like, how'd it go? And they're like, it didn't really work. I'm like, are you actually taking it? How often are you taking it? Well, I kind of pop it every now and then. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing it. If you don't want to feel better, just tell me you don't want to feel better.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right, Nick. Like, this stuff is an aspirin. Like, and I tell that to lots of people. Like, oh, I took an Optimize, I'm feeling better. No, this stuff has to take time. The proteolytic enzymes, and proteolytic means just break down protein, which is what helps inflammation. But also in here, there's turmeric root and turmeric extract powder as well. That, hands down, out of anything in all these products as well, that's probably one of the best known and best proven things for fighting inflammation naturally. My wife is a longtime Advil popper for pain as well. She's an Optimize as well. We have this funny story. She was hoarding it. She hid it and would not tell me where it was, because this was her thing. Like,
she hid the Optimize.
Optimize. She hid the Optimize, right? I had to go and buy my own Optimize, and got it last month finally, and taking it. But the turmeric powder in there has been known for a very long time to work against inflammation. It's better than taking like Advil, which is really hard. Talk about gut health, really hard in the stomach, wears away stomach lining. And I want to, George actually reminded me of something really quick, just before we go on, Trent. He said, they would only do the surgery if you were in dire need. And in Canada, we have a great healthcare system, but it still only goes so far, right? Like you still have to advocate for yourself. You still have to take a lot of responsibility for yourself and for your health, right? Because doctors aren't going to fix anything. And in some regions of this country, if you're not dying, you're fine. Go home. So,
Yeah,
I mean, this is what I try to impress upon people is like, these are things that you can take that will help you. They're not going to cure cancer. No, they're not going to do that. And yes, Nick, you got to take them every day. But these things will help you. And this is just these are small steps that you can take to, optimize your health and take control of some parts of your own healthcare.
absolutely, absolutely.
Now, I don't think everyone will probably have the same regimen of taking them like I do, a lot of these things, because, it all depends on, what your physical trauma has been and things like that. So, I'm speaking from my position of literally voluntarily being in a car crash every Saturday afternoon on the rugby field. And, over 35 years, it kind of catches up with you. But honestly, at almost 50-year-old, I feel better now than I did in my early 30s. Like, hands down, hands down. I without any shadow of a doubt. So, obviously it's one of those things you kind of got to tailor it to your own needs and your own body. But definitely, these products have helped me kind of get back. And when you're not in pain, you're not going a bit downwards up here either.
Yes.
And it's not a challenge all the time, because it's such a challenge to keep a positive mindset when you are in physical pain. And you can have all of the strategies, all the things that you want to do, but you can't out strategize a crappy mindset, and your mindset spirals down if things just aren't working the way they're meant to work or feeling the way that they're meant to feel. So this has all been part, for me, another piece in the jigsaw puzzle, as you say, Trent, of just kind of placing back into kind of like Lee Majors, we will rebuild him, the rebuilding of Nick Fraser, coming back to being able to actually walk and talk and feel okay and not be in pain, and all of these good things.
$1 million
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah. $1 million, all of us. Nick, your point there about what chronic pain does to our mental health is super important. And as men, I don't know if we're trained this or society does it to us, but we're not allowed to say "I hurt." Right? It's like hockey injury, whatever. Yeah. I fell off a ladder last November, I think. Yeah, I was putting up Christmas lights. I fell off a ladder, boom, fell down straight in the ground, broke a rib, got back up on the ladder and finished putting up the Christmas lights, right? Because it's just the mentality. Push through, right? Push through, yeah. Push through. I blew up my knee, rested, and played the third period in the hockey game. Dumb, right? But if you don't treat your body well, chronic pain is one of the biggest precursors to poor mental health that we have in society today. Stress is the other one. But yeah, like living with this every day and never knowing if you're going to get better is one of the worst feelings for people here that have dealt with chronic pain throughout their lives. So, guys, you're allowed to say it hurts. It's okay to say that it hurts and I need help. And, it's a healthy thing to say that I'm not a machine. I can't get rebuilt like the $1 Million Man, right?
Yeah. And I loved, like, I'm 50 today, and
today?
It just no. Well, I am today, and I'll be 50 tomorrow and the next day.
I thought you meant it was your birthday. I thought you were dropping subtle hints.
No, that was a long time ago. But like as we get older, things just like I feel better. I don't feel better than I did in my early 30s, but I feel better than I did in my early 40s. 100%. And it's a lot of it's because of like taking the collagen, the optimize, the enrich for sure. Like I can go bowling and have some beer, and I'm not crying on the way home. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. But anyone that's watching this, I think what Chris was just saying there. As guys, we are told, "Oh, rub some dirt in it, you'll be fine, move on," and that's a snowball effect as well, to the point where Chris, last year you fall off a ladder and break a rib. Go to the damn hospital, sit down, rest, but no, you get back. So it's that snowball effect of, oh, I'll push through it. And there's times where we have to do that, as guys, there's times where we do have to push through it because of whatever reason it may be. But there's other times where, as you say, and rightfully so, it's okay to say, hey, I'm hurt, I'm in pain and I need some help.
And I need to do something about it. Yeah.
And as guys, we just don't do it. And that's why, I think these conversations like we're having tonight are so important, because somebody may not be participating, but they may be listening and going, you know what, maybe I can say, okay, I need some help. And maybe it does make a bit sense that this chronic pain that I've been in for the past 20 years, maybe that's causing my depression. Maybe that's causing some anxiety. Maybe that's causing some downward spiral in my emotional well-being. So I think it's really, really important that we do have these guys candid and frank and open conversations that maybe aren't just about Tranont products, but also about how we can interact and how we can actually send out a cry for help. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I love it. And this is just the beginning. We're going to keep doing these like regularly.
Hope so.
Yep, I love that.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about for products?
Oh, jeepers. I'm trying to think. The one I will throw a quick shout out for my boost as well. That is my pregame workout.
Yeah.
Nitric oxide booster. If you've been a gym rat like me or in sports like Nick, you probably know these NO boosters that they sell, at the supplement stores and stuff like that, GNC and others. This is very similar, except the nitric oxide boosters are naturally derived, which is really nice as well. And it's also got AAKG. And if you're into like weightlifting supplements and athletic supplements, that's just something that really helps promote energy creation in the body. But I like that as well. My 19-year-old son also takes this before hockey as well. Not that he needs it, the little bugger, but he says it doesn't really help him it helps me not suck wind during the third period of a hockey game. But for him, he says it actually helps his recovery afterwards. He doesn't have a delayed onset muscle soreness. He doesn't ache. He played hard Sunday night and Monday morning. I asked him, so how do you feel? He goes, I actually feel better now than I usually do. So it's not going to have the same effect for everybody, but yeah, this is for us weekend warriors. This is a favorite in our house.
Yep, I agree. I'd take that as part of a pre-workout. Yeah, it's an awesome product. All of them are great. I mean, and one of these calls we're going to chat about the wealth program as well that Tranont has to offer, because again, we could have fantastic mindset and zero money, and it's kind of difficult to kind of keep that fantastic mindset. So
Absolutely.
we'll have that conversation another time, but we'll definitely chat about that as well, and how guys, if you're anything like me, your parents did not really give you much guidance as to how to manage your finances, and so
same with me.
you either learned bad habits from them, or you got smart and went on YouTube or went to school for it. So but there's opportunity and options available with Tranont to help build your wealth as well, and get on a wealth curriculum too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like probably the number one cause of arguments between spouses is money and finances, right? Yeah. So again, don't talk about this. We don't talk about this stuff, but yeah, this is important stuff. And you want to feel secure. You want your family to feel secure. It's not about being rich. It's about giving security to the people you love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're sitting at about an hour here, and if you guys want to keep going, we can. But
well, what's in the chat? What questions, Miss Benny?
We've got what do we got in the chat, Benny?
I think you guys got them all.
Has anyone got any questions that they want to come off mic for?
Did Chris answer?
Yeah,
I
I got a
think
whole,
so.
yeah, George and I had a
Okay.
conversation. Yep,
All
we got
right.
that taken care
I
of.
think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're amazing. Thank you.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and-
just to end it off here, I think I gotta put a plug in. We've got it's on for another few hours, but there's a Cyber Monday sale right now, 20% off of everything. Or everything except for the collagen, the transform, and the bundles. But there's so many products out there that we're having good deals on. And so if there's whoever invited you here to watch tonight, get a hold of them and they can hook you up with whatever you need. And yeah, and thank you guys, Nick and Chris, for coming on, because that was fantastic. And I can't wait to do this again. Next time we're gonna have Troy with us, I believe. And maybe
Sounds good.
maybe Aaron Jenkins, who's also another I think he's an Emerald leader in the company. He's pretty fantastic. So
yeah, fantastic. And I think we all haunt Facebook to various degrees. So if you're on here and got a question, like my DMs are open. Ping me, whatever. I love talking about anything, the structure, the company, products, opportunity. I love to talk. So yeah, hit me up.
awesome. All right, gentlemen.
All
This
right.
has been great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
everyone
folks.
for your
Thank you.
time
And
tonight.
thanks for everyone attending and watching. Really appreciate
Yeah.
you all. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
thank-
Good
thanks,
night.
All right, bye.
Good night.